My article considered contemporary Jewish perspectives on the meaning and experience of chanting Torah. In the United States in the 21st century, worshipers across religious traditions are searching for meaningful experiences in religious life. For lay congregants, the decision to chant Torah is an act of personal choice, and I examine the range of driving factors that make men and women decide to chant Torah today. In previous studies, when scholars posed the question, why did Jews chant Torah? They answered from historical and functional perspectives, addressing how the cadences of the chanted trope act as punctuation to the verses, how the melody of the trope points to specific rabbinic interpretations of the text, or how chant aids in the memorization of scripture or is an effective way to project and be heard in a crowd. However, when I asked Jews across America why they chant Torah, most didn't reference those functions. The Jews I interviewed described reading Torah as stepping into a stream of Jewish history, accessing a place of religious and cultural performance that feels truer, more authentic, and more historically grounded than many other religious or cultural expressions of Jewish identity, an intimate and personal connection to history, peoplehood, family, and community. Whether they understood the text that they're chanting to be revealed from God to Moses on Mount Sinai, or as a collection of Jewish wisdom and law redacted by generations of teachers, these readers become the voice that proclaims the story of the Jewish people, their tradition's core narrative. The act of Torah reading is a complex site of cultural and religious performance. Torah reading is both a symbol of ancient continuity and, at the same time, modernity. On one hand, it's one of the oldest parts of the prayer service. While we can't trace the specific musical tunes of the trope over the past 2 millennia, rabbinic sources confirm that the act of chanting text with a melody is an oral tradition that's existed for over 2,000 years. Torah reading has remained remarkably unchanged over the centuries. At the same time, the Torah service is a fixture of modernity, and the tradition is plastic enough to accommodate contemporary rituals that engage contemporary Jews. The fact that bar and bat mitzvah ceremony has remained such a popular rite of passage has established the tradition of chanting Torah as a contemporary performance of identity for Jews across denominational lines. And the surrounding rituals of the Torah service, tunes for community participation, Debbie Friedman's Mishaberach, and other prayers for healing, easily accommodate contemporary expressions of spirituality. The act of Torah reading is simultaneously a site of conservativism and liberalism. Torah reading has to be done right, and many liberal Jews are very conservative with a small c in their insistence upon a respectful, accurate performance. For many worshipers, respect for the Torah is equated with respect for the divine. At the same time, many liberal congregants see the ritual as so central and rich with the possibility of even greater experience that they insist on exploring new ways to perform and engage with the ritual. This liberalism has led to innovative ways to approach their performance, using the trope to chant the text in English, theme-based aliyot, and even using bibliodrama, storytelling, and creative midrash to make the Torah reading more meaningful and relevant. This liberalism has also led women, first in the liberal movements and now among some segments of modern orthodoxy, to challenge traditional gender roles and lay claim to Torah reading. Torah reading is also simultaneously a site of elitism on one hand and democratization on the other. The performance requires detailed Hebrew pronunciation, musical, religious, cultural knowledge, esoteric knowledge, many Jews really want Torah reading to be, quote, done right. But at a time when many Jews have come to understand the act of Torah reading as an especially meaningful way to access and perform their Jewish identity, more and more Jews want to participate in this ritual. The democratization of Torah reading has encouraged congregants to have equal access to this ritual, which in many synagogues lowers the quality of the performance. In addition, so many congregants have read Torah for their bar and bat mitzvah. Even though the act is highly specialized, it has been made broadly accessible as a rite of passage. It's important to consider multiple layers of historical and personal experience when exploring what it means for contemporary Jews to read Torah.